Hey everyone, let's stick with us versus herd. If it's your first time here, love the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications from when we go live, tap the bell. We go live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before market open. And if you want to join the UVH fam, our community, links are below in the description to our Discord and our options trading group on Facebook. Both are free. If you are here right now, say what up, say what's going on. Right now, the S&Ps are up 9, Dow is up 228, and Nasdaq is down a whopping 83. I mean, it's crazy. Nasdaq down almost 1%. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. What's going on, Derek, Jonathan, Hank? If you guys could do me the favor, hit the like button. And YouTube is definitely playing me. Doesn't work right. Doesn't work right. Anyways. Short Peloton again. Yeah, I do think so. So there's a bunch of stuff going on in the market right now. We have a very mixed market right now. Tech is kind of dragging us down with things going on with China, social media, and a lot has to do with, obviously Trump cracking down on the social media. But before we get into that, we have the weekly jobless claims. It is Thursday. So jobless claims at 2.1 million, slightly ahead of the 2.05 million Wall Street estimate. So we beat estimates again on the jobless claims. However, I mean, they are lower. They're at 2.1 million. We've been averaging like around 3.6 million. So I guess that's good. I don't know. Continuing claims plunged by nearly 4 million to just over 21 million, probably a clear representation of the jobless level. The high jobless numbers persist even as all states have reopened their economies. So that's kind of what that's pretty much what I've been talking about. So jobless claims are now at 41 million. Is who is going to be invited back to work? We've been talking about that for a while. So we need to be very careful, and obviously I'm going to be very careful today because I lost $1,200 yesterday. The day before that, I lost $600. So I'm at negative $1,800 for the week. Now, granted, I have a pretty good cushion. I've been having really good weeks. This week, not so good, but instead of trying to make my money back all in one trade, I'm like, I'm gonna revenge trade. I'm gonna make $2,000 on one trade, bada boom, bada bing, right? And be like, it's that easy. I'm just gonna go in real slow, like real slow. I did a day trade on SPY yesterday. Only made $28, but it was 10%. I just kind of you need to get those small wins to start building confidence. So I'm not gonna be going in like $5,000 trades, $2,000 trades. I'm just gonna be going in real low, real slow. Just try to scalp the market a little bit and try to build that confidence up a little bit, right? Going on, Jeff, Lion, Mason. Bitcoin popping. Looks like the market stays elevated today. Now, getting into what is going to be happening today. If you are long social media stocks, be very, 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 very careful. Facebook and Twitter and Snap. If you are long, I'm going to repeat that. If you are long social media, unfortunately I closed out my Facebook short like an idiot, but you don't need to reflect on the past too much. Just move forward, guys. Trump plans to sign an executive order Thursday, which is today, cracking down on online platforms after Twitter began fact-checking some of his tweets. So he's bypassing. He's gonna. This is pretty serious, and I think historic in a way that he is signing an executive order, and because he's signing an executive order, he can bypass the House and the Senate to do what he needs to do here. And it even says down here, the order would push the Federal Communications Commission to write rules on when and how platforms can remove content from their platform and still maintain liability protection granted from them under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. The law, as it stands, largely exempts those publications from being held liable for much of the content on their websites. And then we had, this is a big day. Trump tweeted out, this is a big day for social media and fairness. The order would create a working group of state attorneys general to review relevant state statutes. So this is going to really, really, really complicate things. The debate over online content has taken on new urgency in the run-up to the 2020 elections, in which both parties have found reasons to angry with social media. Nancy Pelosi earlier this year urged Twitter and Facebook to delete a post of her tearing up Trump's State of the Union address as it was edited to appear as if she was doing so as Trump saluted. Oh, remember that? I don't know. I mean, I also think that the older generation doesn't understand the internet. You know, where Nancy Pelosi was, basically a meme at that point. I mean, the internet works obviously there's good and bad that come with the internet. Like, if you're thinking about somebody like Drake, he uses the internet to promote himself and to win the internet, to create memes and that content. And the government, if you're 70 years old, you're not going to get that. So the memes that you're going to generate as a 70-year-old are not going to be good. Biden has the worst memes out there right now. Nancy Pelosi, Trump. I guess that would make you angry because but you have to understand the internet, and that's what comes with it, the good and the bad, So just be mindful. I mean, I think that, in my opinion, I think we're riding a really dangerous line here, mainly because, there's fact checking, I think it's very hard for social media to actually do this because, you're talking about freedom of speech, and then you're talking about if you have freedom of speech, you could potentially spread lies, and those lies potentially could harm people, and that's what social media is trying to stop. But at the same time, you're slapping banners saying it's fake news on top of tweets and news articles that potentially could not be fake news. So who's fact checking the fact checker? I mean, it brings on a lot of problems. So it just complicates things. It's like, okay, now you have this. Now who's going to fact check Facebook? Who's going to fact check Twitter? Who's going to fact check those people? And you can kind of see how this can kind of spiral out of control, So I'm a little bit concerned. When the government gets involved with speech, but then I guess there's two sides to this. The social media platforms also got involved because they're slapping on, they didn't take down Trump's tweets or anything, but they're fact checking them, So take it as you want, but be mindful right now. Like if you're looking at Facebook, Facebook is down $6 today, and that's pretty big. Should have held my freaking short. Anyways, Twitter's down huge right now. What's going on, Carl? If you guys are just joining, say what up. Hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. Good morning. So, weekly jobless claims. Twitter's signing an executive order today, so it's not a matter of if. He is definitely doing it. Okay, it's not a matter of if. So he's definitely doing it. Snap, what's Snap doing over here? Snap's down a little bit. I mean, not crazy, but it's down from its high over here, almost 18. So just crazy. What's going on? Alex, Joe, UNH broke resistance. Tito, yeah, Dollar Tree, all the dollar stores, Dollar Tree and Dollar General reported earnings massive. Yeah, UNH. Let's take a look at UNH, and then we got some other plays going on. As you can see, I'm going in today rather light. I pretty much just have some longer-term plays in here. If we're looking at UNH, so it's at 307. So it really matters. So pre-market. If you're looking at a pre-market gap up, it's a really low volume. Sure, it ran from 290 to 303 yesterday. Obviously, I didn't think that was going to happen, but here we are. A lot of stocks did this. The same with like Costco. we're talking about Costco. We'll talk about Costco earnings here as well. Costco did the same thing. A lot of these stocks had a lot of V-shaped recoveries, but what happened with UNH here is it had a V-shaped recovery and then it kept running. It kind of stalled out and then it had another leg up. And there were a lot of stocks that were leveling out and then had another leg out, just like UNH. Now it really depends here. It really needs to gap up and stick above here because we're gonna have some big problems. If not, if it starts looking like it's gonna fade back under resistance, then we're gonna have a problem. Like look at Apple, similar setup here. Apple's similar setup is coming up in resistance and now it's kind of fading back down. It did tap like 325 and stuff like that pre-market, and then all it's done is fade. So be very mindful, especially during when we have a mixed market like this. Nasdaq significantly lower than Dow and the S&Ps, and we have a pretty mixed market today. Just be mindful that there's gonna be some games plays. Like you want to stay disciplined today. You don't want to just go off all trading everything like that. We want to stay disciplined today. Only focus on a handful. Only focus on a handful of tickers. Costco has earnings after market close today. I'll get to Roku in a second. What's up, Michael Kelly? But Boeing is up. Boeing's also up because they're also resuming. It was announced last night. That's why they got a big pump. They announced that they're resuming the 737 MAX production. So I'm hoping we'll see what happens. But if we're looking at, let's look at Costco and we're gonna look at Roku real quick. Costco has earnings after market close. And what I was saying, what I've been saying last couple of days is this has been pinging basically back between 300 and 310. It's made for some awesome options trading right in here. However, I feel like this earnings is going to really screw it. I don't know if I'm going to trade their earnings today. Usually I am. Usually I do trade Costco earnings, and I do trade Costco quite a bit, even though the options aren't as liquid. But it is a money maker, right? However, going into this earnings, it's really a coin flip. I think it may be priced in already, but you don't know. And especially when the range is tight like this. One of the things that I'm looking at, especially this is pretty good. So if you come up like on a situation like this where the range is basically getting real tight. We're basically the range is creating sort of like it's a triangle. It's going to create a squeeze. So that's the triangle, as you can see here, the range is getting a lot tighter. So it could really push up, or this could break down here at resistance. So it's kind of a coin flip. Like you want to be very careful, be mindful of where you're at. And this could really, the other thing is this could also, to the upside, a lot of people could be shorting here. It could, if they have good news or whatever, if a lot of momentum to the upside, could definitely squeeze those out, could definitely go 320, 330. But if it's not good, it could definitely push it down into like the 280 area. So it's very dangerous. The expected move on Costco right now is only $10, and I feel like, okay, we're at 57% implied volatility for this week. Not the greatest, plus or minus $10. It's okay, but I would maybe sell some calls up at the 320 area if we're looking for, depending on what Costco wants to do. Right now it's at 307, so depending on what it wants to do, like if this pumps up to 320 today, then maybe you want to do more of a neutral play, or maybe you just want to stay out, but just be mindful that there's going to be a squeeze, or maybe nothing will happen, and then eventually it's going to break out of this range. But when it will be, we don't know. So let's look at Roku. Yeah, and we'll look at Beyond. Yeah, I was really surprised with Beyond. So Roku, these stocks are right now bounced yesterday at 101. It's really interesting to me, and that even Netflix did the same exact thing yesterday. So if you're looking at here, Roku, it bounced right where I thought it was going to maybe fill this gap over in here, because gaps are filled, guys. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I thought maybe, hey, could it fill this gap up in here? It started to fill in here. Now, is it going to come down? I thought maybe Roku could come back down to 90, and maybe it still can. Maybe it still can. However, it's pushing up. Right now it's at 105. I mean, it's a little bit lower. I would really like for Roku to come back down to 90, build a solid base, and then push back up to the 120, 130 area. But I don't know if we're going to get that. It's very interesting. It bounced right here where this gap up was. And if you look at Netflix chart, same thing, because I was watching this. Right here, I mean, there's really not really any support up in here. And it bounced yesterday right at where it was at on April 29th. And it bounced exactly the same spot, and it just pushed back up, right? Now it's a little bit lower. So, I am looking for a trade on Netflix. But maybe Roku might be the better option. So Beyond Meat, yeah, I mean what I see on the chart here is it just got tired here. I mean, it had a massive run. If you look at the run here from 57 up to 140, just got some tired. So I'm not surprised that it's coming down a little bit. I mean, that's to be expected. It got above the 120 resistance level, and now it's at 120. So if it can just kind of chill here, it could build support at 120 and move back up from there. But it needs. I feel like Beyond needs some sort of catalyst to move it forward. And that's really what I'm thinking of. But yeah, Boeing could definitely, I'm sure for Boeing, a lot of people are short Boeing right now. This could definitely squeeze. So I feel like with a little bit of positive momentum, now it's at 157. If it can stick, so now it broke through the 149 area, which was resistance. It's starting to reverse the downtrend, so just be careful. So next stop is right now it's 157, and then we have 162, 163 area, and then if we can clear 162, 163 area, wow, I don't know what happened there. Then 180 area is I'm not going to say guaranteed, because nothing's guaranteed, especially with Boeing, but it's a lot easier to get there. So there's, like they say, there's levels to this game, and that's what Boeing's going to have to do. It's going to have to break through some levels to get to where it wants to go. Do you think the banks are going to dip again? I hope so. However, the banks are really low. I mean, if we just look at XLF, it's at 24. A couple weeks ago, I was trading the 22 calls when it gapped up to 23 and it came back down. So if you're looking at XLF, you never traded it. It basically tracks the financial sector. You can look up what's in the ETF at ETF.com. But we're clearly above resistance. Now it could fade. If you're looking at this double top right in here, it was like 2350 area, 24. This could fade. But now it has, like as they say, it has the wind to its back. So just be mindful. It could definitely just rip. I mean, JP Morgan went crazy. However, JP Morgan's right at resistance here, so I would be careful about that. I mean, Goldman Sachs. Now, the thing about Goldman Sachs is not like JP Morgan or Bank of America. So they rely heavier on trading revenues and stuff like that, where JP Morgan and Bank of America do not. So that's why I think that it is performing way better. Its exposure to the mortgage and any debt like credit cards and stuff like that they're not as exposed as JP Morgan and Bank of America. But Bank of America has cleared this, so I anticipate JP Morgan is lagging a little bit behind. Bank of America did clear this area, so a good trade might be to actually get into some like 105 calls. Now, this is my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only, not investment advice. But it might be. I don't know. It could get rejected here too. So. If I lose money on this, but I am interested in this trade because you're following the trends here. It could pop. I think 105. If you get some 105 calls, could pop to 110, And if you're looking at kind of following Bank of America's chart, I mean, they all look the same. It popped out of range here. So we just need JP Morgan pop out of range a little bit. What about our good friend Apple? Yo, Ariana, what's going on? Christine V, we need you. Don't worry, guys. I'm here to stay as long as my mission is incomplete, whatever that is. Apple. So our buddy Apple, I thought, all the tech stocks, if you're looking at Microsoft, you're looking at Apple, they're all up here at resistance, and it's building a base here. So right now it's at 315. So if we're looking at the range here, the range basically is at 314 to the 325 area, 326. So we have a $10 range here, which makes it good for trading. We just have to make sure that we're going to have some good entries. So right now it's at like 316. Apple's at 316. So, it's still within range. Right now the trend is still your friend, still on the uptrend. It's still riding this 10-day pretty nicely. So I think on Apple, any dips are going to be bought. But up in here, you need to be careful and have some good entries. So like down like 314, 315 area definitely looks juicy. Look, bounced right yesterday at like 313, 314, came back up to 317, and it's been doing that for quite some time. Came down here. It's been in this range since basically the 20th, so we're 8 days in now, and it's just kind of chop, and that's what it's been doing up in here on Apple as well. Back in January and February before the pandemic, then this obviously cratered. But if we take away this whole section, let's say the pandemic didn't happen, right? I mean, where would Apple be right now? And I think that's what Apple's trying to figure out is, okay, we're back up to where we were in January. Pandemic didn't happen. Nothing happened. Now, how is this supposed to be priced? How is this going to be priced? And I think that's what the market, I think that obviously, I think Apple, with any sort of good news, probably going to rip to 350, right? I mean, if it got through the pandemic unscathed, right? What's to stop it? What's to stop Apple from going to 350, 340 area, right? I don't think a whole lot. I think a lot of people will pile in. Also, a lot of stocks got rid of their dividend. Apple did not, so people are going to be floating to that as well. So Apple's always, I think, going to be a buy the dip stock. You just got to plan your entries correctly, and I think around like 314 area, for me personally, might be okay to get a little long. However, China sanctions, okay? We need to be very, very, very careful. China sanctions, the House last night sends China sanctions bill to Trump's desk, okay? And this is what will screw up the chart and your long positions, especially on Apple, is that China will retaliate, okay? If we place sanctions on China will retaliate. They're not going to take it, okay? So just be mindful. I mean, might be better to stay out of Apple, but if you're looking from a chart perspective, the long game is in play. But now something like this could definitely screw up your long position. If we're thinking about things that are impacted by China, and Apple's actually moving production over to Vietnam because of they're done. They're done with this. Some of the AirPods are being made in Vietnam now. They're moving production to Vietnam, so they're done. So they're trying to lower their risk as a company because they know, like, hey, what if China fully just locks up, which they probably won't do because they want to be a global superpower. So they need the U.S. U.S. needs China. China needs U.S. We're kind of in this power struggle, right? But that doesn't mean with options, long-term Apple's probably going to be fine. But if you're trading options, very, very time sensitive, you're gonna be screwed. So be careful. Be careful going long. Even like Alibaba's lower, Baidu's lower, JD's holding on. Other stock before market opens, Workday They had good earnings. Yo, what's going on, Daniel? If you're just joining, say what up. If you do me the favor, hit the like button. Workday is moving up to the 180 areas at 182. So it's basically right up in here, just gapping above resistance. You know, they've been moving up for quite some time, so just be mindful. There might be a potential day trade in Workday based on earnings. I will be looking for a little bit of a premium crush in here. Premium was a little bit high on the high side, but if we can get, right now it's at 110% at close yesterday. So if this can pop down a little bit, might be good to buy some calls or puts if we get a little bit of fade. Nice price action on Workday. Home Depot, Aaron. Yeah, Home Depot has just been insane. I made money last week shorting Home Depot, but it just, the resiliency of it, I mean, it has just been incredible. Last week we did really well. There's been a lot of dips. Even yesterday was a humongous dip down to 241, popped back up to 246. I mean, Home Depot's going to squeeze, so it's at 248 right now. I don't know why it's doing so well. I mean, I understand that it's a retailer that's been open, but in my mind, I don't think that Home Depot should be this high. But also, they're kind of benefiting because home sales, everything like that is going well. Home prices are rising. They rose 4.4%. We found out yesterday, or we found out Tuesday, and you know, I feel like people are betting too much against the American economy, the American people, and assuming that we're totally going to get screwed due to the pandemic. But I feel like we're going to come out unscathed. I mean, if you look at Apple's chart, you look at Home Depot's chart, you look at, I don't even know if how's Walmart doing these days? I haven't traded it since earnings. I shorted it for earnings. It was really good. I mean, it popped down, but I mean, this could, if you buy some calls in here, it might actually be decent on Walmart, but it's really choppy. So if you can hang on, you know. There are lines to get in the stores. Yeah, because they don't let as many people in at a time. So I mean, it's just crazy that now the biggest question is that the 41 million Americans that are currently unemployed, we need to get them working again. And if not, a lot of bad news is going to come out. And they're going to miss mortgages. Right now, 9% of mortgages are in forbearance, which meaning people are not paying their mortgage right now. And they're kicking the can, so I don't know if it's a 3 months forbearance, 6 months forbearance, but a forbearance, that if you don't know what a forbearance is you kind of like take a little siesta, but at the end of the forbearance, the entire amount is due. So if you're in forbearance for 3 months, you got to pay the last 3 months when that forbearance is over. If it's 6 months, you got to pay that lump sum. You got to hand it over to the bank and say, here's my money. And if they don't have that, then they're going to foreclose, right? So just be mindful of that. But I don't know. If for mortgages, as we saw in the 2008 recession, for mortgages to fall apart, it takes a long time, because people can kick the can, they can stay in their house for a while, they actually got to like default, foreclose, the sheriff has to come out, maybe kick them out. I mean, it's a long process. So we'll see when we start getting some numbers out on that. Farmers look to be turning today as well. Yeah, I mean, all it's GILD. I mean, GILD is pumping. mRNA is not doing so hot. GILD is doing real strong, and that really sold off too. Yo, Arj, what's going on? Aditya OKTA. All right, market's about to open. It's 77 right now. Yeah, I mean, it broke the trend that it's in. I mean, this is probably gonna fall more, right? It depends what happens here. I mean, yesterday 166 to 179, so a huge recovery, but now it broke the trend, so it doesn't look good unless it can bounce up. I mean, it could. Not saying it can't. Whoa, that's really loud. Sorry if I broke your ears. All right, so market is open. S&Ps are up 9. Dow's up 165. Nasdaq actually recovered some. It's down 32 now. Yeah, here goes Costco moving on up. Boeing's dropping a little bit. Let's see here. What's Workday? People probably taking profits from Workday. Disney's flat right now. What else we got? What else we got on here? We got DocuSign's ripping. Costco ripping. Let's see. Let's see what our good friend Peloton's doing. Peloton. So Hank, I don't know if you're still here, but Peloton's been holding this line at 40. T5, what's going on? Oliver got out of T5. Why did I put T5 in there? Yeah, Toll Brothers taking a dump right now. Yo, Gunther, what's going on? Yeah, Twitter. So, like I said today, guys, earlier, if you missed the part of the stream, because I kind of went on early on this, just be mindful right now that Trump is not if. Trump is absolutely signing an executive order to crack down on Facebook and Twitter. That's why they're down. So be careful. Be careful. Whether you're short or long, be careful. Anything could happen. But from a chart perspective on Twitter, right now, I think it's got room to fall back down to 27, 28 area. Right now, it's maintaining trends, trying to push up. I mean, it's down $1.25. It's bouncing off the 10-day right now. So just be careful. Facebook as well, coming back down to this 10-day, trying to push back up right now as we speak. So, just be careful. I don't think. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think the government can control social media. They're going to try to. So I think that there's going to be a buy the dip opportunity here, but I'm not going to be the guy that goes in because I need this order to be signed. I'm not going to go in like, I'm going to go in before he signs the order. Who knows what's going to happen, right? You don't know what he's going to tweet or say. But right now, like remember a couple of years ago when Amazon was in his crosshairs, and Amazon was taking a dump, and last week it was Alibaba, and it's you don't want to be in the crossfire of Trump tweets because you're going to get wrecked, right? And it could, and you don't know. It's a gamble. It could go up. It could go down. Who knows? So let's just wait for the dust to settle, and wait for a clear entry and execute. That's what I'm going to be doing today because I came off 2 losing days in a row. I'm going to wait for the dust to settle. I'm not going to just go in right now. I'm just going to wait for the dust to settle, go in, choose my entries, and just get it. Just get it, right? Yeah, it's insane to think someone can control free speech. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Tobin. I don't know if you were here. I mean, this is a humongous topic, and maybe I should do like a podcast on it and try to get some more opinions of this. But essentially, it's not about. I don't think it's about the free. I mean, maybe it is about free speech, right? But it's also about fact checking and spreading lies and fake news. And, it kind of goes both ways, right? If I post a link to some sort of antidote or vaccine for coronavirus that's not proven and people seek that out, right? Based on that I posted, that should be fact checked probably. But the question is who's fact checking the fact checker? And then when it comes to politics, I think it's a very hairy situation because politics is very confusing. People in America don't even know the Constitution, so they don't even know what's right and what's wrong. And the laws are complex. I mean, even if you look at the stimulus bill that was passed, there was so much crap in that stimulus bill. Most Americans don't even know what was in there. But if you take the time to look, and a lot of Americans, and the verbiage in there is very wordy and worded a certain way to make you get confused. It's like lawyer speak, right? Contract speak. So it's not like plain English where we just like, oh yeah, we're gonna give X amount of dollars to build this community garden over here. It's not worded like that. It's worded entirely differently. So I think that there's going to be it's going to be hard. So just be mindful right now. Facebook, Twitter, it's in the crosshairs of Trump, and it's going to impact the stock price. As you can see, I mean, this is down 3%. It's coming back. It's rolling back, but it's dangerous. It's real dangerous. Okay. So we just need to be careful, guys. We just need to be careful. Move forward. And DocuSign's really ripping right now. Let's see if we can get a little bit more mojo out of DocuSign would be ideal. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen, guys, with this whole cracking down on social media. But the good news is, like, if you're worried about free speech and all that, the American companies do have rights as well, so they can fight this. They can, if it gets too cumbersome and impeding too much on what they want to do in terms of freedom of speech and giving people their voices, like if they start deleting, and the thing is, YouTube does it. They take down videos. YouTube like if I talk about, like, I've had videos in the past where I've talked about coronavirus or China and stuff like that, where they demonetize. So if they demonetize your video, it's not that they delete the content, but as like someone like me that's creating content, is like, hey, if you don't get paid for the content that in the time that you put into it, you're going to be less likely to make content like that. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to silence you with money. So they're like, hey, and they're saying, hey, our advertisers don't like content like this, so we're not going to monetize it. Which could be the case. Sure. But as someone who makes content regularly and pushes it on YouTube, basically they're trying to silence you with dollars, right? If he flees Twitter, I wonder what network he'd go to. Could see the rise of a new. There's nothing like Twitter, right? I wouldn't, but Gunther, I wouldn't be surprised if the government doesn't launch their own thing, because remember like 2 years ago when he was talking about all the fake news, he said that the government's going to launch their own like news channel so they can have like truth news or whatever. It hasn't happened, and maybe they're working on it. I don't know, but that's essentially what they said. Like they said that, and the stock market's really dropping right now. They said that Trump wanted to create his own news network, and he could create his own Twitter, like replicate that, but I mean that would be real shady and very, very, I don't want to say it, but very communist. Like, yeah. I mean, YouTube reads. It transcribes my speech, so it reads what I like. The algos read what I talk about. I think it also is dangerous for individual platforms to ban or shadow ban or claim that certain uses are aligned when the truth is the platform disagrees. Yeah, so I mean that's Tobin. That's what I'm talking about. Like, who's fact checking the fact checker? Like nobody could get this right 100% of the time, right? Nobody can do that. But who's fact checking the fact checker? That got dark fast. What do I think about BA calls? I think you need to be careful right now. I mean, things are dumping. Also, Boeing has a lot of exposure to China, so if there are sanctions placed on China and China retaliates, we're gonna have trouble. Man, Nasdaq just pumped up. Nasdaq went from when I started the live stream here. Nasdaq went from negative 90 back up to green. Now it's like holding flat. That was crazy. I think I should exit this DocuSign position because I'm gonna take a hit. But I was like max loss on this. I started to average down, but it is what it is. Is what it is. Let's see, what is the option pricing on this? Out of control. Like, nobody trades DocuSign. Nobody. Nobody trades it. Why? The heck? Only filled one? Only filled one? I have 3. And you're gonna do me like that. You're gonna do me like that. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to get out of DocuSign. It expires tomorrow, so I just gotta take my licks. Take my licks. But it was max loss, so I'm actually okay. We got out. We got out. I still lost $300, but I was actually down 900 on this bad boy, so feel like that's a win. You know? So that was I'm just cleaning things up. I mean, I was down yesterday. DocuSign came down to here, man. I was like, you know, should I average down? Should I? I don't think it expires tomorrow. But that was not good. But I'm glad that I got a lot back. I mean, I got back like $600. Could have been disaster. Well, it was a disaster. Man, I traded like complete garbage. Have you heard of WebTalk? No, I haven't. Government news automatically turns your TV on at a certain hour. Go on, Luke. There goes the airlines. Yeah, I mean things are crazy today. Like for me today, I'm gonna wait for things to settle out. I'm gonna strike like this. I mean, the thing is, you know, like after you've been trading for a while, you know what a good setup is and what a bad setup is. Let's see what Netflix is doing. Man, Netflix. So I'm gonna be real patient today. I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna be relaxing, and then I'm gonna strike. I'm gonna strike. Yeah, AMD. I keep saying we like if you want to go long right now. I mean, you could go long, but this thing is dangerous. AMD. We talk about it every day. AMD is super dangerous. It's like, okay, you can definitely go long here. If it goes to 56, you win, but you want to make sure you exit by 56 because it gets hard rejected. So you just want to be very careful. Yeah, what works for me is just pick 1 or 2 stocks for you to trade today. Like for me, and not get too much into the drama, because that's what happens is you just if your focus is on 5 to 10 stocks, you're not going to be able to trade profitably. So, man, market's all over the place. I might play Costco. I might play Costco earnings today. We'll see. Did Workday premium come down a little bit? Looks like it's pushing up. Okay, yeah. So Workday premium, like we checked before, it was at 110%, 110%. Now it's at 65%. Next week's 49%. So these got really good IV crushed right now. So if you're looking for a position, I'm not trading it right now, but if you're looking for a position on Workday, premium was crushed on there. They sucked it out. So let's see what happens. I wonder what premium. Let's see here. It did go beyond the expected move. Yeah, these are only up 100%. Not great. So not a big winner. They sucked premium out hard on that. UAL. Let's see what the airlines are doing right now. Crap in the bed. Man, Delta got rejected right at resistance. Could have went short on that. I haven't traded any of the airlines. I'm a little scared. Am I gonna hop back in beyond, Carl? I don't know, man. We'll see. I do like it down here. I do like it. I don't like that it ripped like that in the first 5 minutes or so. If it was holding, like I would much prefer if it was holding 120, but now it's just like I'm chasing. So I want to, if it comes back to 120 as to holding, I do like it. I do like it holding the 120 area right in here. So I might look for a position and beyond, but right now I'm just taking it. I'm just taking it slow. MGM. Now MGM, might be looking for a sympathy play in here for the casinos. Due to reopening, I do think this could pop back up to like the 25 area now that it's up in here. So I am looking for a sympathy play for Vegas opening. I think that it probably is going to be a sell. I think it's going to probably be a sell the news event. So, but I do think that there is a play here for MGM. So I'm looking at that as well. That would be, I would probably put like a debit spread on. Premium is a little rich, so maybe I'll sell some puts. Maybe I'll just sell some puts on this. Premium is a little rich, 91. Yeah, premium is a little rich. So I think maybe I will. Maybe I'll sell some put spreads on that. If we can get a down day, might be good today. Glad I didn't get too excited for the airlines. I missed that initial jump. Yeah, the thing is, like, if you have FOMO, you're probably too late, right? You have to be able to identify the trend before it happens. And that's where kind of like there's a little bit of art that goes into trading. Like if you're and that's if you're trading like swing trading. But if you have FOMO, you didn't predict anything. You're just chasing. And if you're the guy chasing, it means I'm like, let's say I caught it early, Luke. Let's say I caught it early, and I got the win. I'm unloading my profits onto you. So you're gonna be holding my bag. I'm clean. I got my profits. I'm good to go. I'm clean. I offloaded my profits, my bags to you, and you're holding in hopes that it goes up. But the move was made, right? Now, if you're looking at Delta Airlines, you know, it bounced here around 24 yesterday, had a nice rip. Not saying it can't bounce in this area, but bounce area is like 22 area for Delta Airlines. But now that it got rejected here, that brings some more confirmation to this. But it could still break trend here. It could still try to make another run at this. So it could go either way. I noticed premium was still high yesterday on a lot of stocks that were down. Yeah. What's Netflix doing right now? Stocks. I was looking for maybe day trading Netflix. Apple. Here we go. Apple's running. Look, it hit that, like we were talking about, that 314 area. It's ripping right now. It hit 315. It's ripping 319. Crazy move. What's Microsoft doing? Nasdaq pushed green. Yeah, Microsoft's ripping. So if tech is gonna rip today, it's only back to break even though, because they had that gap down. Apple's doing a little bit better than Microsoft. Nvidia's one. I mean, Nvidia went to 319 yesterday and is now 344. Oliver, that's good insight. You're in workday puts. It wasn't earnings winner, but Nvidia is interesting right here. If it's bouncing, I mean, this is crazy. This is some rip your face off price action though. Like, this is some volatility. This is some volatility. Disney got downgraded today. I put a position on yesterday for Disney. I wish I didn't until today, but you know, it is what it is. Disney downgraded. Concerns about theme parks film business in the pandemic. So I actually didn't talk about this today, but they were downgraded, so they're moving on down a little bit here. You can read it later if you guys are interested in it. But it's still holding support around here, so we'll see what happens. It's not really going anywhere. MRVL. Yeah, I mean, you could trade this earnings run up, so it has earnings today. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna run. It doesn't look like people are taking profits ahead of earnings, which is kind of interesting. I think people would have taken this a little bit off, but it doesn't appear to be the case. Does not appear to be the case. And DocuSign's still running. Probably could have held on, but I'm just clearing the decks. Probably could have just held on. It did tap 130. I had the 130 calls, but I just wanted to be free and start with a clean slate and just move forward. You know, Boeing might be bouncing up a little bit here, but the market's definitely not helping Boeing's cause right here. Market's been in a little bit of a tight range, as you can see, all night long. Just been pinging back between 330 and 350, basically 330. So it's 20-point range. It's just pinging back and forth. The good news is today I'm getting a new tripod for my camera to clamp onto my desk. I can finally fix the mess that I created over here. Who else is Wynn is down quite a bit. I mean, Wynn Resorts had a massive run from 77 up to 89 last couple of days, but still looks just like a bunch of chop in here. Wynn, if you guys don't trade Wynn Resorts, it's definitely a good one because there's a lot of movement between 80 and 90, just kind of chop. So I might be looking to buy if it can come back down to like the 80 area of lower 80s, 82. Might be able to put a little bit of a spread on. Premium a little bit on the higher side, not too expensive, but DKNG, the baby boy, ripping to 37. Yeah, sky's the limit for DKNG, Carl. I mean, who knows? This could go up to $50, $60 a share easily. There's a lot of money in gambling, a lot of money in sports. I mean, I think this definitely is going to be ripping hard, as you can see. I'm looking for a red day to add to this position. I should have bought some yesterday around 32, and I didn't. So we just gotta make clear, concise moves, guys. I mean, after coming off 2 losing days, I'm not looking to rush into a trade. I'm looking for small, consistent wins. I'm not looking to make $2 grand in one trade. I'm looking for small, consistent wins here to build that confidence back again. So everything is turning green as usual. So Bank of America took a dip. Goldman Sachs took a dip. It looks like it's recovering. Now TLT is pretty interesting down here to me because it's right now at the bottom of the range. Now it could pop up from here, or it can break down pretty easily down in the 150s. What do you guys think? Anyone here trade TLT? You guys thinking that it's gonna move back down? I've been watching it. I don't have a position on, but I've kind of been watching, seeing what's doing, and it does look interesting to me, but it could definitely move lower. So just Shopify. Anyone kept Shopify yesterday? Shopify went from 685 to 758 now. The only thing I don't like about it is the spreads are really bad. As you can see, like DocuSign, I had a hard time getting out of. I mean, there's like no volume. There's no volume on Shopify. Makes it really hard to trade. I mean, it moves. I mean, same with Chipotle. I was looking at Chipotle because it came down a lot, and I was looking at it, but like for the month, I mean, like nobody trades these. Nobody's trading the monthly expirations. No one's trading next week. I mean, it's horrible. There's some volume, but no one's trading these. I mean, the spread's $3 wide. I mean, it's awful. So I chose not to do it. I don't know how to trade that. Let's get a live options trade for a small account. You got it, bro. You got it. And Snapchat. So Snapchat is ripping. So Snapchat, here's a small account play. Here's a small account play. Premium is actually relatively cheap in here. You might be able to do a relatively, if you're looking to lower your risk too, you could do a debit spread in here. I didn't think it was going to rip this much. It's up 2%. I would try to maybe catch a dip on Snapchat. Probably the safest Snapchat's probably the safest out of like the thanks Daniel, platforms that are going to be limited to this. I think it's targeted mostly at Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat. I don't think you can really limit because it's like pictures and stuff. I mean, there are text, but it's not. They don't spread information like that. So if we can get a dip here, you can get a dip on Snap. Might be good to play back up to 18. If you can come back down to like the 1650 or the 17 area, might be a good play up to 18. There's a small count tip. Peloton ripping right now because yeah, I've been watching around 40. It was holding the 40 mark. I haven't made a move. I'm like, I don't really want to get long Peloton, but yeah, Alex, we did. I was talking about Costco. Last thing, Costco. You know, what we were saying is the range here is getting tight, and this earnings, it could either be priced in and stay the same, or this range, I mean, it could really pop this or drop this. I do think that it might go beyond the expected move. Right now, the expected move is $10 plus or minus going in tomorrow, and I think it could go beyond that. Implied volatility implied volatility is really low. So maybe I might try to put on some sort of spread for like next week or for June. I don't know. It's really cheap. It's really cheap right now. Maybe try to strangle it. So that's what we're looking at right now. Negative trend for outstanding shares on Chipotle. Yeah, I think Chipotle is coming down. Honestly, I think the run is over, but I was trying to put a debit put spread on because premium is really cheap. I was trying to put a debit put spread on yesterday at 1,000, around 1,000 area. I couldn't get any good pricing and no fills, so I was just like, you know, screw it, and I left. But guys, I gotta pop off. I'll be around today. Hit me up. I feel like my mentality, I'm in a good place today. I'm in a good mood. We're gonna be making some money today. We're gonna try to be making some plays. Hit me up in the Discord, Facebook, wherever you guys are at. As always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.